Core TV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803 471 8550 or 0803 724 9733 014 533 407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Core TV News, and the program is Core Digest. This Sunday morning, the 8th of June. And of course, my guest is still very much with me, Shiji Akinso, being a legal practitioner. As we together look at the topic, the issue of the day, military clampdown on Nigeria. Is Nigeria back to dictatorship? Military clampdown on Nigeria. Is Nigeria back to dictatorship? Well, you can be part of the show by sending your questions, comments, or contributions to any of our social media platforms. You can reach us on Facebook, facebook.com/Core TV News is our identity on Facebook. We've got a handle on Twitter as well. Our handle on Twitter is @Core TV News NG. Well, you can check us up on YouTube. Just log on to www.youtube.com/Core TV. You leave a space and then type news. So you can reach us on any of those social media platforms. Shiji, as legal practitioners, what are you guys doing to overcome, checkmate this clampdown?
Well, as legal practitioners, as our body, Nigerian law, that's NBA, Nigerian Bar Association. Well, we're going to pass a communique, a compendium of communiques, not just a communique.
When is that going to happen?
Well, very soon, because actually the Bar Conference, that's the body of all lawyers, we will hold our Bar Conference in August this year. So that will be one of our major points, or major points of discussion. It's a pity that we are back into the military era, as it were. And I think we have to put the president on his toes to know that, as it stands now, we the lawyers are supposed to be the ministers in terms of justice. We will stand for what the truth says. Because if, like what Mr. Bayami said earlier, if the media is being threatened, you are also actually threatening the security of the nation.
That's
because
right.
if no information can go out, we are back into the Stone Age of what Thomas Hobbes 1515 said. Then
Absolutely.
life there was nasty, brutish, and short. Unless President Goodluck Jonathan doesn't want Nigeria to have a life that will be nasty, brutish, and very short. So the NBA as a whole will take a good prospective X-ray look at what has happened in the past year, this 2013-2014 as a whole, because it leaves much to be desired. Much has been done. A lot of harm has been done to this nation as a whole. There's a disregard for life, disregard for human person, disregard for most of the condensed sections, the entrenched rights in the chapter 4 of the Constitution, where you have the right to association. That's the APC, the rally in the state, done away with. The right to dignity of human person. Look at the Chibok girls, 234 of them being captured and kidnapped. The rights to freedom of the press, that one has been tampered with, downgraded, downtrodden. And the president feels that, I will come back in 2015 with all this on ground. This has to be addressed. There has to be a real redress. I think Nigeria should go into what they call, in the computer age, what they call a shutdown and reboot.
Shutdown,
reboot. Shutdown and reboot in the sense that a political shutdown and reboot. Nigeria has to sit down and think. Is this what we want to continue Nigeria?
Like, we've got to go back to our drawing board.
Exactly. Let's put it in a more computer sense. You know, when you shut down, reboot,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
You remove viruses, you remove all your wanted elements, the system, and the system gets back to its correct senses. For Nigeria as a whole, our government, our people to come back to our correct senses. Somebody once said that, Nigerians are the most happiest people on earth. I won't say I beg to disagree. I agree, because all these things are happening. People are losing their lives. People are being kidnapped. People are dying on a daily basis. And yet, we are complacent about it. I don't know when we're going to have a revolution. I don't mean revolution that will lead to bloodshed. If we can do it like the Mahatma Gandhi side of India, where they had a silent revolution, the non-violent revolution, where you will sit down and be quiet and they will be hitting stick on your head and you'll be looking at them and say, ah, yes, I'm But I will say this. We need to have a complete shutdown. Nigeria has to shut down and reboot. Remove the unwanted and face reality. Where are we going from here? We can't use 2015 as a yardstick. United States gave a statement and said that Nigeria as a whole in 2015 will disintegrate. Coming from the East, some evil leaders, I won't quote anybody because I have to be very, very careful with my statements, have said that President Goodluck Jonathan, as it were, will be Nigeria's last president. That's not a good statement to make. We don't know what the confirmed delegates are doing right now in Abuja, but are saying this. If the confirmed delegates are hearing me right now, we need to shut down and reboot. It's a pity we've lost good heads, good meaning Nigerians. People like Gani Fahimi, Dora Akunyili, may her soul rest in peace, just passed on from the information reaching me. Those are people that they hold Nigeria, they are principled people. If that kind of person is the president of Nigeria, all these things can be happening. We have principled men who are still out there who can take up leadership and say, yes, this thing cannot be happening in my country. Enough is enough. No more cabalism. No more nepotism. No more tribalism. No more, okay, it is me that want this. It's my own turn. No. Do what is right for this nation. Let there be a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Because, let me say this here. As a lawyer, we are meant to safeguard and uphold the rule of law. As lawyers under the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, we will see to it during our conference in August 2014 that we pass a communique, a list of communiques, a compendium of communiques to the president and to the federal government, not just the president alone, because he's not acting alone. The federal government, the National Assembly, and to the outside world, that we are a one unified nation. Not Boko Haram, not any party. Our unity does not belong to any party. I stand to be corrected. Our unity does not belong to any insurgent group. Our unity does not belong to one person who decides that because I have a lot of money, I can turn Nigeria upside down. No. Our unity belongs to us as Nigeria, as a sovereign nation. And that has to be respected. Mr. President, I'm sorry to say, our sovereignty is being tampered with. If you don't allow the freedom of the press, the freedom of association, the freedom of people meeting, the freedom, the right to human dignity as a person. I'm talking in terms of the Chibok girls who are being kidnapped, who are even sick as information reaching us. They are sick where they are right now. The president is doing nothing. He's basically giving a flag to somebody in the state saying that to be the flag bearer. He's more bothered about 2015. Like I said, 2015 is his bread and butter, is his life. Where lives are being wasted. People are being slaughtered like cows, goats, and nothing is being done. I think we lawyers will stand up. We will not disappoint Nigerians.
We hope so. Shiji, SERAP is a socio-economic rights and accountability project. Now, when the president signed into law the Freedom of Information Act, just about a week after his inauguration. Now, watch what the SERAP's executive director, Mr. Adetokunbo Momoni, said in a statement. We applaud and welcome the news that President Jonathan has finally signed into law the Freedom of Information Act. Surely, it will no longer be business as usual. And with the new Freedom of Information Act, the fight against corruption has surely entered into a new era. Now, are you saying now today, 8th of June, 2014, that the fight against corruption in Nigeria has truly entered a new era?
Categorically no.
Categorically no.
Categorically no. Corruption has a new face in Nigeria. Corruption has a new leader. Corruption has a new dimension. It's not when somebody goes and right now we're in a cashless society in Nigeria. People don't have to. You don't have to see how much figures people steal in the corridors of power. They don't have to mention that again. Understand? Corruption now has a twist. People don't hear much about corruption again because now it's now the national anthem in this country. Because how will you expect Desiani, the Minister of Aviation, of the NMP, the
Petroleum Resources.
Petroleum Resources. How would you expect when $20 billion is missing in the coffers of NNPC? NNPC as a whole is an embodiment of corruption itself. Is a baby midwifed into corruption. Corruption has been going on there under the coffers. Nobody knew about it. Now, we are hearing now that she is not going to answer to any question, even though the Senate say in their own colors, let me put it that way, that she also answer, held accountable for the money that is being missing. Now they are now using the power, the incumbent power, to say, I'm not going to answer, and nobody's going to say anything about it, and nobody's going to do anything about it. That's corruption. That's in our own faces, slapped right across our faces, and nothing is going on about it. You are talking about the Minister of Information of Aviation herself, former Minister of Information, Stella Udua. The 2 cars that she imported, the bulletproof cars that she imported, and the amount spent on those cars, my God. Fine, some steps were being taken about it, but it's been swept under the carpet. Nothing has been heard about it. What we are hearing right now is that, okay, they should return the car back to the dealers who brought them, and they should get the money back. To me, all that one is just lip service. Nigeria as a whole cannot continue to be playing lip service to corruption. We are just fighting corruption with kid gloves. Corruption has grown wings. Corruption sits in high places now. That one, we cannot hide from it. If the president comes out and tells me to the face and says, Nigeria is a corrupt nation, I'll say, well, you're lying, sir, with all due respect.
So you're saying the Freedom of Information law is not living up to expectation? Is that what
It
you're
is
saying?
not living up to its expectation, because even though we print everything about corruption, yet nothing is being done. It's falling on deaf ears. All what we print in the news media is just falling on deaf ears. It still carries on at even a larger scale. We see heard about the bulletproof cars, now we're hearing about 20 billion. What next? Finally, the people are reporting about what is going on in some places. EFCC is doing nothing, ICPC is doing nothing. Our courts, sorry to say, they have now been turned to a charade, a jamboree, a soap opera, where somebody, let me give an example, a former chieftain in the southwest, a Yoruba man, a former governor, a military governor of Ondo State, and a PDP chieftain is being convicted of certain crimes, of stealing money in government coffers. We're talking about, is it the Nigerian Ports Authority? Yes. We're talking about somebody in that line. He was tried and convicted, and now where is he? It's like as if nothing happened. He has been pardoned. He has been pardoned. Now, what did the press do about that? You're talking about the FOI bill, Freedom of Information Bill. We cried about it in the press, but nothing is going on. It's like as if the government does not care.
Now, Shiji, I do not want us to leave the line of thought of the topic this morning, which is a military clampdown on Nigeria. Is Nigeria back to dictatorship? I can see your passion. I can see the passion as a legal practitioner that you have against crime, against corruption and the like. Okay, now let's look at the effect of this clampdown on the socio-economic activities of Nigeria. What effect do you see this clampdown having on our economy?
Well, it has a lot of diverse negative impacts on our economy. People, there will be no sincerity, lack of sincerity. We will be in chaos, because people will live in fear. the level of insecurity will be risen. Because if for example now something happens in this country, let's say we don't have any newspapers to read. Let's just go down to brass tacks now. Let's say we don't have any newspapers to read. We don't have anything to see on. You
On the
can't
internet.
even see me on the TV to tell you what's going on. How do you even know whether Boko Haram is by your door? Pointing a gun right at your head, or there's a bomb next to you about to explode. How would you know? How do you know whether some people are kidnapped somewhere or they are doing something or Nigeria is at war? As it were, how would you know? It is through the freedom of information. Now, people as we are in Nigeria, as we are right now, if we don't have that freedom to have access to information, because information is the bedrock of which the world itself revolves round. Because if you don't have, for example, like, let me just go down to brass tacks now. If you don't have information that there's a moon out there, how would you know? How would you take jets, rockets to go there and find out that, okay, it's true information? It is true information. So if you are trying to curtail information, or they are trying to give like a buffet table sized greeting, it is what we want in the print media, is what we want to see there, not what we want. Everything should be there. Everything should be there. And if that information is not being circulated, there will be problem. There will be misinterpretation. There will be rumors, and those rumors will gain more ground than the real information. Said the nation will be in anarchy. There will be chaos. People will have no regard again for what is going on. But people will live in fear, because you have to be informed to know what to say and how to act and how to behave in society. But if you are not informed, fully informed, you are deformed.
That's right.
You are deformed. And if you don't have any information, how would you react? How will you know the next step? How will you know if somebody from outside this country is telling you that, this is what's going on in your country? You'll be surprised. And you in your own country, in your own backyard, you don't know what's going on. It's a disgrace.
Still on the business side of this clampdown, what about the income of the newspaper owners? What do you think that is going to do to their own business?
It's going to cause a lot of problems. Because with this clampdown now, you are putting so many people out of jobs. You are creating more unemployment than employment. You are creating more unemployment. Okay, now we are saying that the vendors should not sell, the media should not produce information and put it in print media, social media, and what have you. What message or what information or what message are you trying to pass across? You are trying to create unemployment.
That's exactly where I'm going. Now, Shiji, we were in this status quo, this mess, this present mess, because some people didn't have jobs and put themselves together in a name Boko Haram, probably weren't empowered, okay? And then they resorted to insurgency. And now the media is crying out about it, and the military is saying the media is only crying wolf where there is none. And so they are putting a clamp down on the print media and creating more unemployment. Aren't they encouraging more people to take up arms?
It's a pity.
Don't you see this metamorphosing into a vicious cycle?
It's not only a vicious cycle. It's more like anarchy. Because you are creating problems out of more problems.
Tell me about it.
Boko Haram is a problem on its own. It's a problem child. And Boko Haram is not something that started now. That started way back. I can't remember when, but it has started way back. When you have, when we're returning back to a nascent democracy in 1999, and you wanted to create what they call, I want to win as a party, or I want to win my opponent. You create what they call some thugs, you arm them with guns, you go about molesting people.
Political thugs.
Yeah, political thugs. Then they evolve. They evolve and become something else. When, of course, you now get to your target, you become either the senator, the House of Representatives leader, you become the president, you become the governor, and you now lead these people with these guns. And some of them become assassins, some of them become kidnappers. You have kidnappers, some of them become gunmen, in quotes. You hear gunmen did this, gunmen did that. We don't know whether they are Boko Haram or not, they are part of them. And then you now have the Boko Haram. Boko Haram is just a graduation from all these sets of vices. After having political talks, you have kidnappers, armed robbers, gunmen, you now have Boko Haram. Boko Haram is not a surprise to me. And you have the Taliban and the Shabab. or the Al Qaeda in the Middle East, you have Boko Haram. Now, Boko Haram, well, I don't have a sympathy vote for them, because if they say they are for Islam, I don't think any Muslim will want to listen to what Boko Haram is doing, because Islam and Muslims in Nigeria have disassociated themselves from Boko Haram. Now, what is Boko Haram? They say no to Western civilization. What they are doing presently, all what they've done, their bombs, their guns, their uniform, what they say, is it not part of Western civilization? It's not part of Western education? It's a foolhardy. Now, you bring Boko Haram onto the stage. Where is Boko Haram from? Who are their sponsors? Why are they doing what they're doing? What message are they passing? In short, they don't have any particular message. First, they said they want to Islamize Nigeria. Second, they said, okay, we don't want education. Third, they're doing all sorts, killing people, bombing. What for?
Again, now that there's a clampdown on the print media, who should be talking to Nigerians now? Who should somebody be interrogated at the moment? Should someone come out to address Nigerians and tell us something? Who should that be?
I think the situation, as it were, concerning this clampdown on the print media and the media as a whole, it needs to be addressed. Like one of the presenters said on air earlier on, that the proper way the military ought to do it, if they find anything in regard of this that is causing problem for them, they should go to the courts, or at least meet the editors of these media houses or chief editors in chief and say, look, there's something we found out, some materials we found out that's inside your print media or your social media that is offensive to public policy, as it were. Remove it. If they don't remove it, they cannot do what they are doing.
Okay, now again, remember that the events that led to the passion and the emotions with which the print media published stories in the last few days also generated global concern.
Yes.
The Chibok girls, remember?
Yes, yes.
Now, what do you think the global community will be thinking of Nigeria now that there's a clampdown on print media in the 21st century?
Well, as it were right now,
Our public image, our image in the global community.
like I already told you, our public image is nothing to write home about. Our public image has been downtrodden by the federal government. Fine, we are blaming the federal government for everything because their agencies under them, the military, their security operatives under them, have not been living up to expectation. What they are supposed to do in finding our girls, they've not done it. What they are not supposed to do is what they are doing. Now, what I'm trying to say is that clampdown, that withholding of information, that destroying of information and print media and what have you, has to be addressed. I think what they should do now, if any print media, if the union as a whole, if the medias can come together and then go to courts. It's not that the courts is the savior of the nation, or cry out to the international media to come to their aid. Because as it were, our courts have been bought. Some of the courts have got, pardon me, they have been bought. Because it can swing anyway. But as it is now, I think we should invite the foreign media to help us out, to bail us out. Let the president see that most of the atrocities is being committed have to be checked. They have to be checked. Because as it stands now, if information cannot be circulated well inside this country, what do they want us to do? Why is the military doing the wrong thing by clamping down on media houses and destroying print media, and then doing nothing about Boko Haram, about our girls, about Sambisa Forest where they are, if they are still there anyway, and doing what I call a soft approach to handling issues? Oh, by going to the media houses and destroying print media, would that help your case? Would that settle the matter that is on ground? It won't settle the matter that is on ground. But mind you, let me say this here. Destroying the print media would not stop what is going on in social media. Unless they go and black out maybe MTN, Glo,
or Facebook or Twitter. Or YouTube.
There are so many platforms for the social media. There are so many. Are they going to shut all those ones down? No, they cannot. That's why I said that the situation needs to be nipped in the bud now. What has happened in Nigeria now, as it were, needs to be nipped in the bud. Not only courts, forget the courts. There has to be a communique issued to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the head of the security units. Is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If he's even the commander, if he's really commanding well. Because if you are the head, the CSO as well of this country, the chief security officer of this country, and things are being done this way, and you are bothered about 2015, it's like North and South Pole, which they can never meet.
Okay, Shiji, I know that you're so passionate about this. So am I, okay? And I can see you're boiling. And I understand perfectly that everything rises and falls on the leadership. Let's just take it softly on Mr. President, okay? Let's take it softly on him. All right, now we've seen how the clampdown on the press media will affect our commercial activities. We've seen how it will affect the self-esteem of the average Nigerian, the human dignity in Nigeria. And also remembering again the events that led to this. Do you foresee in the coming days more heated protests about the events that led to the clampdown, the cause of this clampdown?
We are still protesting the issue of bring back our girls, the Chibok girls.
Now, do you because of this clampdown, do you see this clampdown bringing about more heated protests?
This clampdown, as it were, if not managed very well, can lead to catastrophe. Because I don't want to foresee the members of this unit going on strike. I'm not dictating for them to go on strike, because going on strike will lead to what they call a total blackout. You know what they call a blackout? Like we say when NEPA takes, like a total blackout, no information, nothing. Everybody just sit down at home. Nobody knows what's going to happen the next minute, because nobody has any information to know what's going to happen the next minute.
That's dangerous.
And if the president doesn't want that, he has to address this situation. He has to tell us the reason why the military are acting in this way. Because the military, they take orders, and they take orders from their head. And who is the head? It's still the chief of army staff. And who does the chief of army staff take command from? They take command from the commander-in-chief of the army, who is the president, so to speak. Sorry, I'm going back to the president. Because the bulk lies at his door.
Absolutely.
He has to do something to make sure that this does not repeat itself. Because as it is now, we're going into anarchy. If what happened goes unchecked, so many other uncountable atrocities and violations will happen in this country, and we won't do anything about it.
This is Court Digest on Court TV News. We're reaching you live from the city of Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, and we're talking about military clampdown on Nigeria. Is Nigeria back to dictatorship? Shiji Akisoyino is my guest. He's a legal practitioner. Remember again that you can reach us on any of our social media platforms. Facebook.com/Court TV News is our identity on Facebook. And we've got a handle on Twitter as well. Our handle on Twitter is @CourtTVNewsNG. If you want to check us out on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CourtTV. You leave a space and the news is where to go. Now, costing home. What are the three basic things that we can do now, that Nigeria can do now to salvage this situation?
Well, the only thing we can do now, like we are doing, the same treatment we're doing for the Chibok girls, is to protest. You have to give a peaceful protest.
You want to advocate more protests?
Well, that's if the police don't come down and clamp down on the protesters to arrest them. But the only thing we can do now is because if we go to the courts, do those in government respect the rules, the judgments of our courts? The answer is no. So we, the lawyers, we know what to do. Go to court to try and enforce, to fight these vices, this aberration. But are the governments, are they willing to uphold the rule of law? Are they willing? The answer is still no. So what can we do? what can we do? Because if we do not protest, as it were, if we do not protest this thing, if we don't even write it in the media, let the media know, if we do not protest these things, we'll just be talking and talking and talking, and the presidency and the federal government and those in the agencies will keep doing what they're doing, like I see they're deaf.
Okay, I asked for 3 things. Okay, that's one. More protest, one more peaceful protest. Okay.
Organized pressure groups.
Organized pressure groups. Okay.
When I mean pressure groups, we have the NLC, for crying out loud. The NLC can embark on strikes. They can embark on strikes. Everybody sit down. So I'm not dictating to Nigerians. Nigerians are tired of strikes. Yes, they are tired of strikes. But this cannot go on. We're not in the dark ages or the Maldivian periods. This is 2014, for crying out loud. We're supposed to be moving forward, not going backwards. This cannot happen. Because the freedom of information is in other countries, in Europe, America, as it were. What's wrong with Africa? There are some countries in Africa that it's the government that is dictating to the press what they should put in the news for the outside world to see, and not what is happening. Yes, there are some governments that will tell the press, they've bought the press over. Okay, fine, the media, fine. They will dictate. Let's 1 + 1 be 2, and write that there, not 3. Obey. Of course, they've been bought over, so they will just do that because their sponsor is their government.
I can only imagine.
Okay, so in Nigeria, it's not like that. In Nigeria, our sponsors is not the government, and we are trying our best to let the whole world know, and Nigerians know they have the right to know what is going on in their country and what they can do to stop what is bad in this country.
Last positive step you want to suggest?
Well, apart from pressure group and protests, the inevitable is to head to the courts.
The courts?
Yes. If we don't head to the courts, the offshoot of that is to hold a roundtable discussion with those in power.
When you say the courts, you mean the newspaper proprietors should sue the federal government?
They are unions. They have unions.
Yeah, should sue the federal government.
They should sue the federal government.
Okay.
Add the military personnel and agencies alongside. If possible, also add the chief of army staff as well, because he's their head, takes order from the head, and then say, okay, this is what you've done. That's an aberration of this thing. And then you try and make sure and ensure that those rules and damages are sought should be enforced on them, so that such things will not happen again. It should not happen again. But that's notwithstanding, I think if the government is ready to dialogue, instead of going to the courts to waste our time at the courts, they should sit down and dialogue. Like they're doing the confab, they're dialoguing now, trying to say, okay, this is what we want in Nigeria, this don't have a referendum of one sort or the other. Fine, there should be a dialogue, there should be a sit down and talk to ourselves. That, come, this is what happened, we don't like it. Something must be done about it.
Okay.
And if nothing is done about it, what's the way forward for us? Are you seeing there should be total blackouts? The media houses, the Punch, Guardian, Vanguard, Sun, everybody should, AIT, Core TV, DBN, and even Super Screen, everybody should just go to their homes and not do anything. Fine, they are creating unemployment by doing that, but let us let you know that this cannot continue. Let him have the pinch, let him have the feeling that what we're doing, this is what's going to lead to.
This cannot continue. On Court Digest this Sunday, Shiji Akisoyino says, let's have more peaceful protests. Let pressure groups in Nigeria speak up. And of course, the court remains the final hope, the last hope of the masses. Ekiti is still boiling. Report Regional still has it that barely 24 hours after the visit of President Goodluck Jonathan to Ekiti as part of his campaign for PDP candidate Ayo Fayose, the APC rally, which was meant to sweep the feet of PDP from Oluyemi Kayode Stadium, was actually disrupted by mobile policemen. And our reporter, Rashid, told us that the procession of the APC leaders and supporters were disrupted outside the stadium, again by mobile policemen after they had swept the stadium. And one person was allegedly shot dead. Well, a big thank you is what I must say to you, Shiji, for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate you, and we just hope that in all of this, in the coming days and weeks, something positive will come out of this campaign.
Something positive can only come out if we do this. If we protest, we employ the use of pressure groups and the courts. Dialogue, to me, is a last resort. That's if the government are ready to listen and admit that they were wrong in what they've done. That what they've done is a total catastrophe, it's an aberration, a violation of our human rights, violation of the Constitution and sections entrenched in that Constitution. Things like this should not be heard of from a democratic government. That the government that is for the people, and by the people. I stand to be corrected. Is this government by the people? I doubt that.
For the people?
No.
And as you said earlier, we should shut down and reboot.
If we are ready, I think that's the best option we have, to shut down and reboot and then take out the unwanted elements and set our record straight.
Do not forget to reach us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/Core TV News, our handle on Twitter at Core TV News NG, and on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Core TV, leave a space, news. I say a big thank you to you for being part of Core Digest today, for watching. We appreciate you, because without you, there cannot be us. So a big thank you to you is what I say. On behalf of the production crew, my name is Tolu Ojewumi. Please stay tuned at 2 o'clock. We'll bring you news on the hour, because this is a place to be Core TV News in Lagos. It's been a fine weather this Sunday, 8th of June. We hope it doesn't rain later in the day. But whatever the case, remember, I'll leave you with what George Orwell says. Journalism is printing what someone else doesn't want printed. Every other thing is only public relations. I'll see you again soon. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching again. Be the best.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos
there is still a poor level of
Be the first to know.
Core TV News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa,
A federal high
we
court
break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News,
Welcome to Core
a
TV.
24-hour news station.